Hey, welcome back into the kitchen. It's good to be back in the kitchen doing something. We're going to do a new series, and we're going to call it 52 Biscuits. And over the course of the series, first of all, we have to make sure that we know how to do just a basic biscuit. And to do that, we're going to use what's on the back of White Lily self-rising flour, and we're just going to use the recipe. That way, you know the basics, and once you get the hang of just a regular biscuit, you can make it into just about any kind of biscuit you want. So, let's see what we have to do. I have most of everything that you'd want to have, okay? And it says that you're going to cut them out. This is a set that I have. We're going to use the larger one, but there's other sizes depending on what biscuits you're making. And if you're making like hors d'oeuvres or something kind of to snack, maybe really just about anything. But we're going to use the larger biscuits because that's what we like. You can put more butter and good stuff on a bigger biscuit. So on here it says 2 cups White Lily, a 1/4 cup vegetable oil, and it says you can use buttermilk or sweet milk. We're going to use just regular milk. And then it's an optional 2 tablespoons of butter or melted. We're going to save that until they come out of the oven, and we're going to brush them on the top with butter, and then that way you can put butter in them, and you can have as much butter as you want. But to get the feel of, hey, what's just a regular biscuit going to be like, and one that you can adapt, we just need to make a plain biscuit with not a whole lot in it. Just a regular old biscuit with 3 ingredients basically is self-rising flour, shortening, and milk. Alright? So it starts off with 2 cups of self-rising flour. That's 1. Make sure it's all out of there. And there's 2. Alright? Okay, the rest we'll be putting in this container because we're going to be making more. If you tried to put, depending on what size you have, for some reason, a full bag of White Lily will obviously not fit in that. And this is just a regular bag, it's not going to fit. So you got to make sure, just because it's in this size bag, when you pour it in something, it's going to get bigger. There's 2 cups already out of it. All right. We're going to leave this kind of open because this is what we're going to use to cut. On the recipe, you'll notice that it says use a well-floured cutter to cut out your biscuits. And we're going to cut them out instead of dropping them. You can use drop biscuits, but to begin with, we want to make sure that we know, hey, what's a regular recipe? What's it going to look like? And then we're going to use a 1/4 cup of shortening. Once you get the hang of what a 1/4 cup looks like, use your favorite spoon and measure it. That way, usually, before you cut it, now I know about what a 1/4 cup looks like. So the next time, I won't have to mess up a 1/4 cup because now I have to wash this. All right? So we're going to put this in here. Believe it or not, the recipe says to cut this in with 2 knives or a fork or, mash it in. It needs to be really well. You can use a spoon. Let's look how I do this with a spoon. What I usually do is I'll use the back of my spoon and just cut it in like this. And when you're adding your milk, it's also going to help spread that out a little bit. All right? This shouldn't take very long. All right. I just want to get really the larger pieces. And this is why I don't use a wooden spoon, because when you're pushing down, you're trying to cut the shortening in. So you'll see that's a larger piece. It could be cut in a little bit more, but as I mix the milk in it, that's gonna go away. All right. Oops. So here we are, the milk, and it says buttermilk 3/4 cup or regular milk 2/3 cup. So, I don't have that one, so I'm going to use 1/3 twice. That'd be 2/3. There's one. There's two. I'm not going to put the milk up yet because I may or may not have to add a little bit more. All right. All right. So you see, once you start mixing it, whoops. This looks like it's a really stiff dough. You wouldn't be able to spoon this out. And depending on how you like your biscuits, that looks really thick. All right, so that's why I left the milk out. I like milk. I like my biscuits a little moister than that. So, just to be sure, I'll show you how much more I'm adding. That's 1/3, but I may, okay. So, that's 1/3. That's 1/3 more. And I'm using my spoon like this instead of smashing it. Okay, and I'm basically cutting it in a little better. There we go. Rolling it over. And you notice it's not real sticky, but it's pretty sticky. And it's lumpy. You say like, wait, that's not mixed and smooth, but that's okay. What we wanted to do is get the milk in it, and we wanted to get it mixed up so we could put it on the countertop. Okay, so I'm going to get some flour. This is just the way that I get it out. I'm going to go around the edges to make sure I get all of it, and then I'm going to dump it out. There we go. All right. Then I'm not kneading it. I'm just getting it ready to be cut. Okay? All right. There we go. Now, when I cut these, there's one. I'm going to put these over here. We're not going to eat a whole lot because I'm going to show you something else to do, okay? Oops. Oh, gone it. All right. So, since it's just me and Susan, I should have preheated it already. I'm going to explain this in a second. Okay. So, we're only going to have 2 biscuits apiece. All right. Now, on the bag, you'll notice in this recipe it says bake 8 to 10 minutes until brown, but it says heat oven to 475 degrees. Okay. 475 degrees is going to cook them like really fast, and they're going to rise. They're going to be delicious. But I don't like my biscuits. I don't like to be like dark brown or brown. I like them just turning golden. Okay, so the rest of them I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put on a separate place, a separate cookie sheet. You know what? There's 5. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make 5 and 5. Okay? Alright. So, on this says makes a dozen biscuits. We only made 10. And it's because it's depending on what shape you use. The thing is, be consistent. Once you have your recipe, it's like, oh yeah, I know what it's like. Then what you do is you decide how many biscuits you want. With this pan, once these go in the oven, I'm going to put these in the freezer like this. And once they freeze, we're going to put them in a Ziploc bag. So the next time we want to have biscuits, either for breakfast or for dinner or something like that, I already have, Susan and I, 5 biscuits ready to go. All I have to do is turn the oven on, walk to the freezer, get the bag, and stick them in the oven. Well, put them on something to cook them with. All right. So let's put these in the oven. We have this set on 350. It's almost ready because I had heated the oven up just a little bit a while ago. So it's not going to take as long to heat up. And I'm going to put these in the freezer, and when we get back, it'll be ready to take them out of the oven, and we'll see what they look like. All right, let's do this. Okay, so the biscuits are about to come out of the oven. You'll notice that while they're in the oven, you could be cooking something on a cooktop, or you could be cleaning the mess up. Okay, and it's always good to kind of clean up the mess because you want to be able to enjoy the biscuits and then do the dishes after you're finished eating. So if you have a small counter space like this, do the dishes, clean up your mess, and we'll pull these out. And okay, so what you'll do is you'll notice these are just getting browned. They're almost golden, and on here it says until golden brown, and then brush with butter if desired. And I so desired. So I melted some butter. And once you start putting butter on, I do the tops really good first. And once you do this, if you'd like, you could probably stick them back in the oven and let it toast a little bit. But I remember what my kids used to like is if I moved it over and I had butter left over, I would put the butter on here. That way both sides are getting plenty of butter. Look at that. Nice sizzle. And if you wonder, it's like, well, can I just bake biscuits on any kind of pan, a cookie sheet or anything like that? Yes, you can. But my suggestion would be, if you can find stoneware similar to this, or one that's smaller or larger depending on how many you're feeding, or if you have, wait until I open one up and put something on, or if you have a cast iron skillet or a cast iron lower skillet like you would blacken fish on or something, make sure it's seasoned well. Cook your biscuits on that, but I found that stoneware and cast iron work a whole lot better with biscuits. So let's see what. Usually, what I do is I eat the ugly one first, but to show you, what I'm going to do is they'll open up. I didn't even use a knife, but. They open up perfectly. The butter that I had left over in here, I'm going to pour on, and then I'll probably get some more butter for this side. And you can put preserves, just about any kind of jelly. But what I found in the pantry was sugar that is starting to crystallize, and I like honey that way. It's so delicious. Well, let's just.
Oh, it's gotta be hot.
Oh man. So I know that if I had bacon and grits and eggs, I may not only eat but 2 of these biscuits, or maybe 3 if there was maybe some gravy also. But I'm gonna refrain, and I'm probably gonna eat just 2.5. I don't know, maybe. Then we might eat them all. But next up, what we're gonna do is I'll take the others out of the freezer from the bag, and I'll show you what they look like when they're cooked. They're gonna look just like this because they freeze really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the other brands of self-rising flour, but I do know I've been cooking with white lily a while, and you can freeze that when you make biscuits. And the other thing is, over the course of our 52 biscuits, the series, I'm going to show you how to make lots of different kind of biscuits. Some are going to be sweet, some are going to be savory, and then that way, now that you know how to just make a plain biscuit, you're going to be able to adapt this to everybody. And it's not a big secret, y'all, because the recipe's on the bag. The trick is how you mix it, how you pat them out, and don't overwork it. All right, so next up, a little, maybe a savory biscuit, and we'll cook the ones that are in the freezer. Let you see how those turn out. I'll see you the next time. Take care.